I can come in here and give it a little, it's hard to see that, but I plumped it out a little bit and cleaned it up.
What's that rib called?
I don't, it's just a metal rib from Mud Tools.
And Tom, when you put that in, where did you started from the bottom and went up?
Yeah, I just kind of looked at the curve of the pot, looked at the curve of the rib, and just sort of kind of went underneath here. But it made this sharp. I don't like when this lid set gets sharp. Like there's a little ledge there, and if you look at the ledges on those, it's in the wall. Like underneath there, there's not a ledge. Like I said, this is just a warm up. And then perhaps I want to put a line inside there or something like that. Okay. Calipers, for those that don't know what a calipers is, where did it go? How do I lose my head? Hey, I don't know how I got there. Take this. And you're gonna go here and take a measurement right there so we know that that is the inside measurement. Okay. And then what I do is I take a pencil on a piece of paper here and I make 2 marks and then I open this back up. It self-tightens and you make it a little snug. So now I know that the outside measurement, so when this goes in there and I'm throwing this, I know right here when I measure this and I go to throw the lid is going to match the inside there. That's why that fits in there. Can you lift up that big plate? What's that? Oh, you know, in life there's the easy way, there's the hard way. I'm going the hard way on this.
More satisfying.
There we go. So then the question becomes, how much lid or how much clay do you need to make the lid? Well, there's no formula for this.
Well, if the bowl's 3 pounds, we're figuring it's less than 3.
Depends on how domey you want it, how big of a handle you want on it.
What would you recommend?
What did you grab right now?
Let's see. Let's do a little measuring here. How wide is that up there? How much does this weigh?
Like 5.5?
Okay, so the lid.
Just a little shy of 1.5 pounds.
Okay.
So you said that, so like half. Because you said originally you said 3.
Yeah, something like that. But that shouldn't matter. It's the width, it's the distance. Doesn't matter the height. So, because that could be half the height if you wanted it to be. So it's, what did you say, that 5.5 inches to a hair shy of 1.5 pounds of clay. Now, if this makes a monster lid, we'll figure that out. But I think this should work. It's really important to center that lower half here, because when you make a lid like this, you're going all the way through the pot, or all the way through the clay to the bottom of the bath. So here, I'm gonna come here and I just kind of guesstimate where I need to be. So this clay is coming out roughly to there. And just by making the hole and pushing down, it widens. I have that funnel shape because if you just drill a hole and try to move it over, it doesn't work.
Did you go all the way through to the bottom?
So you can see there's only about a ½ inch on each side.
So you're all the way down in the back then?
Yep.
No clay bottom?
Yep,
So there's a hole.
there's a hole. And since it's a funnel, I can move the bottom out without really moving the top out. So I'm kind of almost undercutting it. And by undercutting it a little bit and pushing that, I should be pretty close to where I need to be. There's a little bit of wiggle room, but watch this. This is important too. So I'm gonna push slightly past that. See how it's a little bit wider than what it is? Actually, I might even do a little bit more. And the reason I do that is because when I go to push it back in, it lines up. So when I pull and I do this, it's, ooh, there's a little chunk of something in that. God, that sucks. Puts me in a bad mood. I've got to get that little wiggle out of there. Do I have a needle tool sitting in my mess over there? So embarrassing. Got to get rid of that little. Okay. So it lined up? Then what I'm gonna do is, Kathy, can you take that lid off again? Set it flat. So see that under? The outside of that rim is what the measurement has to be. This is gonna be the outside of the rim. And I'm gonna line up just like this. And I give it just a little push. And so I leave about 1 inch of clay from the bat up. Then I'm just gonna double check my measurement again. It's got a little bit of, it needs about 1/8 of an inch more. So I'm just gonna push out just a little bit. Perfect. So that's set. So I don't wanna mess with that measurement.
So that's your unglazed.
No, it's that. It's the
outermost part.
It's the outermost
That's what I
part.
thought
There
you
we
said.
go.
I'm trying to picture that.
Yep. And it'll make sense when I take this and I do the very ending here. So then we're gonna choke this in like that. So that's 1 choke. That's 2 chokes. Now, this is the question. Did I have enough clay? We'll find out. Then, starting from this right there, I pull. It's pull number 1. It's still a little thick. Got a little bit of a wobble in it, but that's okay. So see how like sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that? So I'm gonna take this. Oop. Oh, here, trickling the water. You don't want to fill it with water and put a lake down there. When I go like this and I put a little bit of water on my finger, it trickles down my finger and I layer it in the inside there. So I'm gonna do this one more time and try to grab the clay right out of there. Bring that there. I'm gonna do another little pass. This is so tricky because you really have to feel the weight in there, because if you pinch that too thin and that stays too thick, it falls in on itself. So it's got to have that support. So now I can take this and tighten this up a little like this. I'm gonna reach, I reach all the way down even though my finger's not there. It gives me a support. Then I'm gonna come up here, raise that up.
Who did you learn this like from?
Kurt showed me this, but I also saw it during undergraduate and graduate school. And then who's the person that, there's an artist that does like really huge, like over exaggerated ones. It was on the cover of Ceramics one plate. So see how that's a little wobbly there? I'm just gonna take that because that still can be a little problematic. Take that away a little bit. So this is where I kind of taught myself the do's and don'ts on this. This is like a cylinder, right? And at first when I was trying to master this lid, I would try to throw it like a little pot on a pot. It doesn't work that way. Just leave it a cylinder like this and take the top here and just close this. Because now, if I was to try to shape that, it thins it out too much and it starts getting a little funky. So then what I do is I'll take my finger and I'll go around that out a little bit, clean this up, and then I take a pinhole and I put that pinhole right there. Because you need a little bit of, the air needs to escape when you see what I'm gonna do next. So that undercut, we know that this lines up perfectly. So this right here will fit in that lid. Taking your, you can do a couple things. I've done this and that's a lot of extra sponge under there. So I'll take my fingertip, clean all the gook off of it, and I'll push, say I'm a little bit above this on the clay there, and I push in a little bit like that, and then I'll push in the bottom. Notice how my two index fingers support one another. And that air escapes out of there. Then I can take this and push like this, and then get something like that. And then it starts forming itself. I'm gonna take this, go a little further, because the trick is the distance of that lid set has to be accounted for when you push that clay in there. If you don't push it enough, you run out of clay when you trim it to fit. Like flip that over. See that distance on that rim? And you can see it gets a little funky if you run out of clay, because then it just doesn't work. Now if it runs out of clay, that's okay because it will still fit if you lose that part that rests in. So then I'll take this, and now with that opening, make sure you don't close it, that it goes through there. And then come here, and then you got one chance to go like that, thin it out, come up like that. I'm not gonna necessarily close it, just a second here. Then take this guy. This looks good if I do this. And take that.
How thin would you say that part where the knob hits the thing is? Top of the lid?
This,
Yeah, well, where you were pushing.
this.
So you don't push your finger all the way through.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
You got
I'm
it.
taking.
That actually got thick, like it, turn that knob over again. See the hole in there? Let's see what it looks like.
So that's just all pushing,
That's what
no
I'm
trimming,
wondering.
it's just pushing that in.
It's just pushing it in.
No.
Sometimes when I'm trimming that out, see that how I finished the top on there?
Yeah, yeah.
I leave a little ledge there. I'll come in there and kind of clean that up to make it look nice,
And this
like a
is
nice
beveled
curve.
here, even this top lip here is.
Well, that's where
45.
the nice thing is you set it in the pot and you trim the lid in the pot. The lid is or the pot is the chuck.
Oh, okay.
And then it holds it in. Because that fits perfectly, you go back and forth until it drops right in. You can put that in upside down. That's how you trim it.
Got it.
It's magic. You don't have to worry about a chuck or anything. The handle, and the knob, it's all done. But it's really tricky to kind of have that support. If this gets too thin, you're toast. It's better to make it a little bit beefier and then trim it. So 1.5 pounds, that actually was pretty good on there. And then you just trim to fit. Make sense?
Easy peasy.
So that's the hardest one. I always tell people on this lid, learn this one, because all the other ones are way easier. Because this is the trickiest one, but it's the hardest. So it gets easier now. And then on Wednesday, I'll have a couple more lids. I'll probably be able to trim this one out on Wednesday. So we're going through bowls, bringing in lids, and kind of we're in this like